How to know what you want without referring to your thinking. Hey, my name is Boris Kirchner, and by the end of this video, I'm going to help you to tune in to your soul sense. The soul sense that is not reflected in our everyday experience of thought, and also not necessarily reflected in our everyday experience of emotion. The soul sense, much like an acorn, contains within it the entire unfolding of our life journey. I want you to think about your life as a movie on a DVD. Now, you are at this point in the movie, and you're not quite sure what's happening next, but in fact it is already encoded in the DVD. In fact, it is already there in your soul sense. Just like an oak is contained within an acorn, and it has all the wherewithal, given the right conditions, to express, emerge, evolve, and become all that it is here to be, fulfill its function, fulfill its purpose. In the very same way, you and I have within us a soul sense, which is not one of our five senses. It is not necessarily our mind and feeling sense either. It is more akin to that space of intuition, that sense of sensing. You know, when you say, oh, I sense something, you don't necessarily refer to thinking or feeling, although you may, but sometimes you would say then, oh, I feel something perhaps in my belly, or I feel an intuitive, but this is different, sensing. So the soul sense contains within it what we actually want. But you might say, but isn't desire actually a reflection of our ego? Isn't desire actually one of the aspects that causes us to suffer? Just like Buddha taught, aversion and craving. Craving is that aspect of desire, wanting something. And it's true. When we refer to the desires of our ego, they are never satiable. And in fact, they never bring that sense of fulfillment. Why? It's because your ego is not who you are. So imagine that you suddenly have the sense that you're a dog, and you go around trying to do different dog things, but those different dog things are not necessarily fulfilling to your human sense of existence, right? You may have lots of dog friends, but suddenly being disconnected from humanity has another sort of aspect to it, which gives you a dissatisfaction, which doesn't allow you to have the fulfillment, the peace, the joy, the happiness that you are seeking. So, how do we tell the difference between our ego desires and our function? Well, in fact, our function is to be happy. So when you are experiencing something other than happiness, then you are not fulfilling that function. What you are doing is you are pursuing the narrative of your character. But in fact, our function is quite apart and actually has nothing to do with what we think of ourselves as a separate self. What we think we need to do, what we think we need to get, who we think we are, is completely something other than what is true within our soul sense. Because if you think about this, we are much like this body, this sense of an ego identity, this existence, is very much like a video game character. Now, when you play video games, you are removed, at least once removed, from the actual experience of the video game character. And his characteristics, her characteristics, are not yours. Although you are developing them distally, you remain always untouched and quite apart from what you are observing. It is the very same, or perhaps very similar experience in life. What you are in your soul sense is quite apart, we may say, quite distal to your character in the world. So how do you know what you really want? You may tune into the character, and the character will say, I want this, I want that, I want, and so much of that is just programming, right? So much of that is programming from the television, programming from our parents, programming from our culture and society. That's not it. And yet within us, we have something that is yearning to express itself on the canvas of time and space. There is something that we are here to do. Here's how I would like you to think about this. Think about the chair, perhaps, that you're sitting on. Here, I am sitting on a chair. This chair is in existence. Now, what brought it into existence? Well, what brought it into existence is a need. It is an answer to a need. It fulfills a function, right? There was something that was required, and in answer to that came the chair, right? How the chair came about, we understand, right? So it is a thought, somebody created, and on and on and on, the evolution of chairs. So if a chair has a definite reason for being here, has a definite function, a definite purpose, how much more so do you have a definite function and purpose? Just open up to this and consider that here I am, here's the chair, here I am, I must have at least as much function, as much reason for being here as the chair. And in fact, it is quite a specific reason, right? Chairs are created for a specific reason for people to sit in them, or perhaps as art as well. But that is a secondary function. Primary function of the chair is to sit in it. Now, to provide seating. Now, how about for us, for you and me? What is it that we are here to provide? What are we an answer to? And in fact, you are an answer to a prayer. You are an answer to a need. The reason you are here is very definite, and it is contained in your soul sense. Now, how do we tune into this? How do we discover what it is? So, the way to uncover that is first to put aside everything that you've ever thought that it is, and be open, be receptive, be willing to listen. Listen where? Listen inwardly. We're not listening to any kind of demand of the world necessarily. We are listening inwardly, and we're tuning in to those nudges, those cues, those intuitions that point us in the right direction. So when we came in here as children, we had a sense of fascination with the world. There were things and colors and sounds and different experiences that were drawing our attention outward. And as we look back from our childhood, and we look back at the tapestry of our life, at the timeline of our life, you, much like me, I suppose, will have found that, wow, so many different varied experiences. And yet, what is also there is a golden thread. It is a thread of interest. It is a thread of inclination. It is a thread of talent. What is it that you are intuitively or were intuitively drawn towards as you were unfolding in your life journey, specifically through the earlier stages? What is it? What were those objects, those perhaps books, those experiences that stood out to you the most, that made the greatest impression? So that's one, is to take a look and see, where did you spend most of your time? Where did you spend most of your money? And where did you self-start? Where were you drawn without having anybody to say, you have to do this, or I'll pay you if you do this, but you had your own impulse to pursue? So think, not think, but feel, not feel, sense through these questions. And also open up. Open up to this understanding that there is an intuitive guidance that is coming in here in this moment, in the moment in which you are seeking to understand exactly why you're here, exactly what it is that you're here to do. Understand that life, God, the divine, consciousness, whatever you want to say, is at this moment that you are seeking it, is seeking to express through you. And so as you begin to think and see, and sense, what is it that wants to come through? What are those things? And you may want to write them down. What are those things over the tapestry of your life that you're most drawn to? Where you spend most of your time, where you invested most of your money, and where you were intuitively or self-startingly pulled. This will begin to reveal to you the clues, so to speak. We are very accustomed at this point to our thinking, to our feeling. And so when we begin to open to the soul sense, it begins to reflect itself in our thinking and feeling. But this is an intuitive process. If you were just going to ask your mind, hey, what do I want? This is different than asking of your soul, of slowing down your breath, slowing down to really understand and appreciate and believe that if the chair has a function, so how much more do you also have a function? And to understand also that another incredible clue within this sphere of what our vision is, what it is that we're here to express as, is this sense of happiness. Because when you land on it, when you touch it, when you imagine it that way, you start to feel this possibility, you start to feel lightness on opening. And here's the second step. If there were no obstacles whatsoever, if you were fully resourced, where you were fully blessed, you were fully supported in fulfilling anything, let's say that all of your money is taken care of, all of your other needs are fulfilled, and now you have this ability to do anything in the world. We could say, what would that 100% vision look like? What would the vision look like if it was 100% the way that you would love it to be? Now, this is not coming from need. And even if you feel, oh, maybe it's an incredible amount of money, or it's fame, or it's riches, it's recognition, give that all to yourself first. In imagination, I have the recognition, I have the money, I have the power, I have all of the things that I need. What is it now that I'm here to express? Another clue, angle, is what is it now that I'm here to give? The ego operates from needs. And if you use your imagination to kind of plug all of those holes, those needs are not your needs, those are the needs of the character. If you plug all of those holes with your imagination and say, okay, all of those needs are fulfilled, now what? This opens up a way into that canvas into which your soul sense can express, can give you the clues, the direction, the intuition of what it is that you truly want. What is it that I really, really want in the depth of my soul to express, to be here, to fulfill my function here in the world? This is a moment, a very sacred moment, where we ask, where we are truly interested in the essence of what we're here to do. It is also a very rare moment because it is a rare human being who is able to step away from life enough, step away from needs and lack and scarcity enough to say, okay, actually, all right, this experience of the world is like a game. I've been experiencing it through my character, but now let me just awaken to my greater self a little bit and see what was my original purpose, what was the meaning of me being here. And when we do that, it is as if our experience conspires to move us in that direction. Will you right away know exactly what it is and have a full 5-year plan ahead? No, not necessarily. And you may actually never quite have it that way because those 5-year plans are very often just based on our ego's programming and the need to satisfy a certain template. But yet that's not the way that this moment unfolds, right? You didn't know that you would be here in just this way and that all of these things that I'm saying would be affecting you in the way that they are. And so we have to also be open to the possibility that this revelation of our function is happening moment by moment. There will be a definite direction, a definite aim to which you are going to be drawn, to which you're going to be directed. But the way that that is going to unfold may be delivered to you moment by moment by moment, or bit by bit. Maybe it's day by day, maybe it's month by month, maybe it's year by year. But what I want you to feel comfortable with is this space of not knowing. Because the moment that you come in contact with soul sense, with spirit, with this intention to really do what it is that was the original will for you to do, what it is that you are really here for, what it is that you exist for. At this point, experience starts to change. At this point, you're no longer operating as an earthly creature, although you may well continue to operate as an earthly creature in many, many, many respects, but now something is beginning to be downloaded or uploaded into your awareness. And you are going to see that different elements of your life, the different people, different resources that you have, different clues that are around you begin to, in a way, conspire to guide you, to lead you, to come into you and make you a leader of the function that you are here to fulfill. So be comfortable with that experience of not knowing, but always simultaneously knowing that you are fully supported, fully endorsed, because you are doing what it is that the universe is here to do as you, through you, and by you. I hope this has served you. If you enjoyed this and you would love to have ongoing conversations like this, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon to be notified every time I put out a brand new video, helping you to master your life and master your mind and be able to express your fullest potential in your life, in your world, and within your inner domain, within your manifest world. Take great care.